Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with my monthly TV recap for the month of July. Alright, so now that July is over, of course, we're back with our monthly TV recap for the month. So I'm doing these every single month I think I started in February, right? So I missed January for this year, but hopefully we'll finish up the rest of the year doing a wrap-up for each month. So this month, a little bit better than last month, but not exactly what I was expecting. I do want to check out some shows that came out in July still that I missed. I've been, checking out a lot of older, or not necessarily older, but just shows that didn't come out during this time. I just finished the Godless miniseries, and review should be up on the channel just before this one for that one, so if you're interested in that, check that one out. But and The Sopranos, I've been watching a lot of that. I'm trying to get caught up on some of these bigger shows that I haven't seen for some reason. So anyways, that's what it is. But this month, still some really great shows that I've checked out, especially two in particular, and one that I was excited about, a little bit disappointing, but still, I'm still kind of optimistic about the potential of the show. But all right, so my TV shows that I watched this month were The 100 season 6. I saw 4 episodes of that. Stranger Things season 3, I watched the whole season, so that's 8 episodes there. And then lastly is Pearson season 1, the Suit spinoff, and I watched the pilot episode of that. And I haven't watched episode 2 and 3 yet, that I think came out in July, or maybe it's just episode 2 that came out in July. But either way, I haven't seen past the pilot for that yet. But I'd love to hear what you guys watch this month, what your thoughts are on the month, and what you look forward to in August. I have, a ton of shows. I think there's 5 shows around that are coming out in, the same week. Some of them, Righteous Gemstones, Succession, we have The Terror Season 2 coming out, we have Mindhunter, so, just so many shows I'm really looking forward to coming out in the next, 3 weeks in August, so really look forward to that. But I'd love to hear what you guys are looking forward to, and what you thought of the month of July in terms of the summer TV. But yeah, so for me, I watched 13 total episodes between those 3 shows. And now, like I always do, I like to put these in a ranking, so I'll give you my top 5 episodes, my worst 3 episodes, and then I'll give you my best performances of the month, highlighted best actress and best actor from the month in television. So, without any further ado, let's get to my top 5 episodes of the month. Alright, starting things off at number 5, we have The 100, Season 6, Episode 10, Matryoshka. I think that's how you pronounce it. I think it's the name of those Russian dolls, right? That you put a bunch of them inside of each other. Anyways, and so this episode I thought was a really satisfying episode. The episode that came just before this, coming back from a 2-week break again for the show, was a little bit disappointing, but this one really picked up the pace. A lot of the stuff that we've been kind of waiting to see finally played out in this one, and we also get Clark kind of back in a regular role, if you will, in this episode. So I thought it was just really impressive, the stuff that they pulled off in that one. Definitely not one of the best episodes of the season, but I think it was still just, again, a really satisfying episode for the viewers for sure. So, number 4 then, next on the list is Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 1, Susie, Do You Copy? Or I believe it was Chapter 1, Susie, Do You Copy? So, this episode was just a really great way to start off the season. I think some people might have been disappointed because there wasn't a lot in here, to be honest, right? It was a pretty slow-paced episode. It's kind of showing us, catching up where these characters have been the past, I think it's a year, right? Or maybe a little less than a year that's passed. But either way, time has passed. These kids have kind of grown up a little bit. Things have changed. The relationships are different between these characters. So I felt like it was a good way in kind of catching us up and giving us this kind of context to what this season will be about, given the July 4th kind of backdrop, overall, kind of the overarching, trend or tone or theme, I guess, of the season. So yeah, in that way, I thought it was a good episode, just as a normal standalone episode. Maybe not the, most action-packed, the most fast-paced, but I did really like it. All right, number 3 is, I think, the best episode of the 100 that I saw this month is The 100 Season 6, Episode 11, Ashes to Ashes. This one was just jam-packed. We got some really great flashbacks for Echo, who has been a supporting character in the show, but has really got a nice role, I think, in this season, bringing her up a little bit. And then also just some really satisfying stuff with some of these villains finally being defeated. In terms of the primes, right? A couple of them are killed in this episode, and that's just really satisfying too. Of course, we see Clark kind of coming back into her own body again. So just some really great, satisfying moments in this one, and I felt like the writing was probably the best. I think at times the way we got to things wasn't the best execution, right? But I think the actual scenes that played out as a result of this kind of on the nose talking, like, let me tell you my backstory, and then we see the backstory. So the backstory plays out is awesome, but just a little heavy-handed in showing us, saying, like, let me show you, you know what I mean? So just stuff like that. This one was also directed by Bob Morley, who's one of the big stars of the show. Just really awesome to see him take that opportunity, and I thought the direction was really great throughout. All right, number 2, my second favorite episode of the month was Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 8, The Battle of Starcourt. I thought this was a really great finale. I would have to say, though, maybe the worst so far out of the 3 seasons, to me. I think the Season 2 one may have been better, but it was also just kind of a bigger scale, and so we had a lot of stuff going on. And Season 1, I just felt like, it's still unique, a little bit fresh. The one problem I had with this finale episode, though, is it was just really familiar to the Season 2 finale, and almost like the way it played out in the end was almost like note for note the exact same, with just a couple things changed here and there with the context of the season. So that was my only problem, but the actual like character stuff in this one, of course we see one of these deaths, or actually 2 deaths to the major characters in the show. One of them obviously may be kind of a fake out for right now, but either way, I thought this finale episode was just really well done. It's a little bit long, maybe. It's a little bit too familiar, but other than that, I think the performances were all really great, and I like the ending sequence too, kind of turning into a new chapter of the series, which I'm really looking forward to in Season 4. Alright, my top episode of the month then is Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 2, The Mallrats. I thought this episode was the best episode of the season for Stranger Things, and one of the best of the series. I thought, again, this one, not a lot of supernatural element in this one, not a lot of horror necessarily. We see kind of the stuff with Billy kind of dwelling in the background, but the main plot of this episode is just so great. I feel like the writing in this one is the best of the entire season from the Duffer Brothers, the direction in this one, and just something that we haven't really seen from the show. I love the Max and 11 dynamic, and going to that mall, showing a little bit too of the times as well and how that was shaping these kids' experiences. And so I thought that was just a really great episode. And again, a really great way to kind of get us into this season. I feel like episode, I would say 4 is really when it gets started and really propels us into the kind of action and main plot of the season. And so with the late start, I feel like this episode is really, really great. So there you go. Those are my top 5 episodes of the month. Now, let's get to the more negative side. So these are my worst 3 episodes of the month. And let's be honest, all 3 of these episodes that I'm about to name, I still got some enjoyment out of them. It's not like they were dumpster fires or something like that. But, at the end of the day, I gotta rank them, so here we go. Alright, so number 3 of my worst 3 episodes is Stranger Things Season 3, Episode 7, The Bite. I thought this episode, as a standalone episode, as like maybe at episode 4, 5, or 6, okay, it would have been fine. But just kind of lackluster as a penultimate episode to the season after all the stuff we've been building up to. And even the cliffhanger turns out to be rather underwhelming when you get to the finale and see it play out. So I just thought, except for the opening sequence of this episode, again, I just thought a little lackluster. I like some of the stuff with Hopper. I like some of the stuff, with the kids towards the end of it, with Dustin and Steve and all that. But I felt like this one could have been a lot better. And I feel like the Duffer Brothers really put pretty much saved everything for that finale, which made it come in at around an hour and 20 minutes. Which, again, I felt like if you put some more stuff in Episode 7, polished it up a little bit more instead of spending a lot of time on these smaller plots that we've barely been focusing on the rest of the season, that episode may have been a little bit shorter, a little bit more I kind of feel like more of a finished product, if you will, rather than it did to me. But either way. Number 2, then, is The 100, Season 6, Episode 9, What You Take With You. And I think this episode really had no help because it was coming off that 2-week break. And because of that, again, I just feel like this one was really underwhelming. Coming back from that 2-week break after Episode 8, many cliffhangers in that one, like a lot of stuff going on. And then we get this episode, and I just felt like, it just wasn't that satisfying. There were some good parts of this with Octavia, and we saw some of those, kind of sequences play out with Gabriel and kind of some of these minor characters starting to figure out a little bit more about what's happening. But again, I don't know, just a little lackluster, pretty slow paced. Not much happens in this episode for the 100. And again, coming off that 2-week break really did not help them in that. All right, my worst episode of the month then, number 1, is Pearson, Season 1, Episode 1, The Alderman. I don't know. I mean, I did my review for the series premiere, if you want to check that out on the channel. I'm really looking forward to Pearson, and I still am looking forward. I think I'm still kind of holding on to hope that that really does have potential. And this episode I just felt like was underwhelming. Let's be honest, right? I just feel like this series is almost a year too late for Suits fans, and now the series is ending, they're going to try to, kind of put this series out to kind of hold the Suits fans over until maybe another spin-off or the next season of Pearson now. And I just felt like, I don't know if people are still interested in this type of show, because if you take the Suits element out of it, and it's just a viewer watching a new show, I'm not sure that this new show brings anything new to the table that we can't see on any network TV show that's going on right now. So, to me, I don't know, a little bit underwhelming, but again, I'm still holding out hope for something that, at least comes close to the level that Suits was on in its kind of prime. But anyways, that is my worst 3 episodes of the month there. All right, to end things off, my best performances of the month. Best actress, I'm going to give this one to Eliza Taylor, playing Clark Griffin in the 100. This was really close with Millie Bobby Brown. I think she did a really great job. But I have to say, to be perfectly honest, I don't think she gave as good of a performance as she did in Season 1 and 2. Though I don't think this season really lended that character to her either. So I don't think that's necessarily her fault. But either way, Eliza Taylor is doing an amazing job. Definitely her best performance to date in the 100 this season. Just incredible, playing 2 different characters, but then at times now she's acting like a character while still playing herself. Just a really difficult job to do for Eliza Taylor, and I think she's doing really great, showing that potential that she hasn't really had the opportunity to show before in the show, really showing that depth and a lot of emotion from her this season, and she's doing a fantastic job with that character. All right, best actor, hands down, I gotta give it to David Harbour, playing Jim Hopper, especially given his character's maybe his death at the end of at Stranger Things Season 3, but we'll have to see, of course. But David Harbour is just a fantastic actor. I will say I was a bit disappointed with the arc that his character had in this season of Stranger Things, but I don't think that's any fault to David Harbour as an actor. I think for what they asked him to do, I think he played it to a T. He was really, really great in that. Almost a comedic relief at times this season, and he was just awesome. So, anyways, guys, that'll just about do it for my monthly TV wrap-up for the month of July. Like I said, I am just stoked for August and looking forward to the next couple weeks even, just to see these new, I think there's 4 new shows that I'm like, I can't wait for, and I've been anticipating for like a year. So, anyways, guys, really look forward to August. Love to hear your guys' thoughts on August and July and what you're thinking of TV right now and where it's at for you. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching once again, and we'll see you next month for my monthly recap of August.